Happy morning to you all. Blue Stars Higher Secondary School welcomes you all to learn the poem Once Upon a Time. This is the first poem in 11th standard English. So, the poem Once Upon a Time. It's a wonderful poem which was written by Gabriel Okara, a Nigerian poet. The poem Once Upon a Time speaks of falsity concealed behind smiles, absence of genuine appreciation concealed by a facade of hypocrisy, and the longing of an adult for the innocence of childhood. So, by this poem, the poet Gabriel Okara is expressing his longingness to the child for the need of its innocence and ignorance. Now, we are going to learn about the wonderful poet Gabriel Okara. Gabriel Okara, he was born on 21st April 1921 at Bumodi, Nigeria, and then he died on 25th March 2019 at Yenagoa, Nigeria. He is a Nigerian poet and novelist whose verse had been translated into several languages by the early 1960s. As a poet, he wrote lot of poems which expresses the real life and the fake personalities. At the same time, he is fond of writing novels. That's why he wrote lots of novels. Some of his notable works: The Voice, The Fisherman's Invocation, etc. And then a largely self-educated man, Gabriel Okara, he became a bookbinder after leaving school. He started to gather lots of books and soon began writing plays and features for radio. He wrote lots of plays and lots of articles for the radio. In 1953, his poem, The Call of the River Nun. This poem won an award at the Nigerian Festival of Arts. This poem, The Call of the River Nun, gave him a big fame and name for Gabriel Okara. Some of his poems were published in the influential periodical Black Orpheus. And by 1960, he was recognized as an accomplished literary craftsman. So, by his efforts, he was awarded by lots of honors and awards. At the same time, he got the fame literary craftsman. So, most of his poems are the role model for the people who are all reading it. Okara's poetry is based on a series of contrasts in which symbols are neatly balanced against each other. His poetry, it has some unique symbol there. The need to reconcile the extremes of experience. He reconciled the experiences, whatever he had in his life. Life and death are common themes in his poem. It preoccupies his verse, and a typical poem has a circular movement from everyday reality to a moment of joy and back to reality again. So, in his poems, he brought all the different way of view. He is bringing all the things to the readers. At the same time, he is only not a different person. His point of view, his ideology, his writing style, everything is different. That's why his writings make us to learn his books. Now we are going to enter into the poem, the Once Upon a Time. Happy. What means happy? The child, he is laughing. The face, his face expresses that he is happy. He is laughing, that's why we are saying that he is happy, isn't it? At the same time, angry. This boy expresses that he is angry. Why? Why he is angry? He is angry with his friend. He is angry with his brother. This girl expresses by her face that she is sad. This man, he expresses that he is confused. This girl started to scream. Her face expresses that she is afraid. She is full of fearfulness. Why? Because her face expresses. This girl expresses that she is jealous to her sister. Why? Because her face expresses. Why her face expresses like this? Because our face is a mirror. Our face is the mirror which reflects all the feelings of our heart. So, the feelings of our heart is expressed in our face. What a feeling! It will surely express in our face. Our feelings can be expressed by our own way of smiling. By laughing, we can express all our feelings. Now we are going to learn the poem. We are going to start the poem with the characters. Who are they? The father and son. Yes, only two persons are there. They are going to give us a poem. It's a conversation between the father and the son. The poem, Once Upon a Time, it's simply a conversation between a father and his son, where the son does things with emotion and the father wants to forget his fake personality and relearn and create real personalities from his son. Here, father is the person who's showing the false emotions in his face, but the son, he is showing the real and true love by his face, isn't it? So here the father wants to forget all his fake personality. He wants to be like his son, to laugh, to smile, to show, to express everything like his son. So he is asking his son to show him how to express true love and show real personality to others. He is asking, he is requesting his son, please learn me, please teach me, please show me how to express true love and show real personality to others. Now, we are going to enter inside the poem. This is the first stanza. Once upon a time, son, they used to laugh with their hearts and laugh with their eyes. But now they only laugh with their teeth. While their eyes block cold eyes, search behind my shadow. In the second and third line, what he said? In the past, people, they refer to people. People used to laugh with their hearts and laugh with their eyes. If they started to laugh, their eyes also start to laugh. They laugh with the wholeheartedly. Happily they laugh. In the past, people used to laugh like that in the past, not now. But now, they laugh only with their teeth. They are not laughing with their hearts and eyes. They are only laughing with their teeth. While their eyes block cold, I search behind my shadow. It's not a proper laugh. It is hiding something behind their eyes. It's not a true one. It's not a real one. By this stanza, the poet mentions that people used to laugh with their heart. They used to laugh with their emotions. When they would laugh, they would do it wholeheartedly and with warmth. And they used to laugh with their eyes and show pleasure with them. And no, they do it with only their teeth, not with their heart. What happened in the past? They used to laugh with their emotions. At the same time, their eyes also started to laugh. It's a real one. It's a true. It is very nice to see. But nowadays they are not laughing like that. They are just laughing with the teeth. They are showing their teeth, like that. But they are not laughing with the wholeheartedly and with eyes. Eyes block cold eyes. These words emphasize the coldness and the inner hatred. They are having something hidden in their mind, and then they have for you like they can freeze water within their Gaza. That means what? It's not a true one. It's unreal. It's not a real. It's an artificial one. They are showing some other face to us. This also makes the poem feel a bit dark and cold and a slight bit sinister. Sinister means what? It's a fake one. It's not a real. It's a false one. This line, but now they only laugh with their teeth. The people of modern days, they are showing the insincerity of the people around the persons. They are so showing some insincerity. They are not sincere to the people who are all there with them. Isn't it? To laugh with your teeth means that only the bottom half of your face is engaged. The laugh does not reach the eyes. It's not reaching your eyes because it's not a real one. Then how can it reach? That's a problem, isn't it? Then the line, search behind my shadow. What means the line? This implies that the person cannot look the persons in the eye. They are not ready to contact your eye directly. They are looking somewhere. They are not ready to look you directly. Looking someone in the eye during a conversation, if you are looking someone's eye during the conversation, it implies that one is sincerely interested in what you have to say. Surely it will show the interest between the people, isn't it? Not being able to do so implies shiftiness. If it's not there means it is what? Shiftiness. It's not a real one. It is a false personality. This is the second stanza. There was a time indeed they used to shake hands with their hearts. But that's constant. Now they shake hands without hearts. while their left hand search my empty pockets. Here in the second line, what he said, they used to shake hands with their hearts. They shake hands with one another with their hearts wholeheartedly. With pleasure, they shake others' hands. But everything gone, my son. Nowadays, they are shaking hands without hearts. Just for formality, they are shaking hands. While their left hand search my empty pockets. While talking with the other, they are searching for the person's worth and his wealth. That itself they are searching. That's it. They are not giving them respect. They are not giving them the full attention to his friendship. They used to shake hands with their hearts. This line implies a strong handshake that is sincere. But it is not happening nowadays. Why? The opposite of this habit is going on nowadays. What will happen? This is opposite of what now occurs between the people. There is no handshaking with their hearts. Just for formality, they are shaking hands. It's not happening nowadays, isn't it? And then the line, hand search my empty pockets. People are only seemingly nice to get something from you. They are searching something from you. So they smile with you. They are smiling. And really they are smiling with you, but it is not a sincere one. They are not sincerely smiling with you. They are seeking to get something from you. They need something from you. That's why they are smiling at you. But it is not a true or real or sincere one. By this stanza, the poet talks about the personalities of the people of the past. He says about the past people, what it is. They used to shake with their hearts. But here he is trying to say that when you would meet each other, you will shake their hands with pleasure and with warmth and do it willingly. In the past, people used to shake their hands with pleasure and with warmth. Willingly they can do it. But nowadays, they are not shaking their hands with hearts. For the formality alone, they are just for a formality, they are doing everything. While their left hand search my empty pockets. From this line, we can see that they are trying to use him for him. This also shows that the people's personalities are not real and true. This line, search my empty pockets. They are searching for our worth and our wealth. That's it. Not for our original friendship. This is the third stanza. Feel at home, come again, they say. And when I come again and feel at home, once, twice, there will be no thrice, for then I find doors shut on me. In this stanza, he is talking about when people ask you to come again. They are asking you to come again and say feel at home. You go there once, twice and the third time. They will not let you in thinking that you are a pest and that they do not want to see you anymore. what will happen? They are saying that feel at home, come again, means they don't want to see again. That's the real meaning of that words. But we are going, respecting their words, isn't it? What will happen? They will shut the door in front of us. What will happen? They are not liking us. They are thinking that you as a pest, they do not wanted to see you anymore. This also shows that when people speak, they lie not telling the truth, but just saying something nice to grasp their heart. They are not telling the truth. They are saying it as a formal words, that's it. They are not saying it wholeheartedly. They are showing their fake personality. Next stanza. So I have learned many things, son. I have learned to wear many faces like dresses. What are they? Home face, office face, street face, post face, cocktail face, with all their conforming smiles, like a fixed portrait smile. I have learned many things. So, by this stanza, the poet talks about how he has learned to put on faces like how outfits and masks are put on at different times, and with different people you act differently. So the father, the poet, he learned many things. He learned to wear faces like masks, faces like dresses, according to the situation. He is wearing lots of faces. He is also learned nicely to act differently. And I have learned to laugh with only my teeth and shake hands without my heart. I have also learned to say goodbye when I mean good riddance, to say glad to meet you without being glad, and to say it's been nice talking to you after being bored. By this stanza, he says, I have learned to, which is suggesting that he has also changed with the change of the people around him. So, the people's changed him fully. So, he also changed himself as per the people who are all living around him. He also learned to laugh only with the teeth. He also learned to say goodbye. He also learned to say glad to meet you. To laugh with only teeth. He says, I have learned to say goodbye when I mean good riddance. That is pointing out to the fact that they will without thinking and without meaning. That glad to meet you, meaning they did not want to talk to you and they disliked your presence. They are not liked your presence, that's why they are shutting door on you. They are not liking to invite you again and again. Next stanza. But believe me, son, I want to be what I used to be. When I was like you, I want to unlearn all these muting things. Most of all, I want to relearn how to laugh. For my laugh in the mirror shows only my teeth like a snake's bare fangs. By this stanza is saying unlearn all these muting things. Whatever he learned, now he want to forget, unlearn all the muting things. Unlearn means what? You want to erase the things whatever he learned. You want to erase it, everything. Unlearn means what? You want to forget. You want to remove all the things from the memory. The word mute means silence. Think of what happens when you press the mute button on the TV remote. What will happen? It will reduce. It will it will make the TV to be silent, isn't it? Therefore, there is an implication that the insincere actions that the person describes are muting. They block or silence good intentions. Hence, the person wants to unlearn these habits. So, as the father, the person, the poet, he wants to unlearn all these habits, whatever he learned. Everything he want to erase, everything he want to forget from his memory. In this stanza, he points out that he really wants to learn how to laugh with emotions like you. From the child, from his son, he wants to learn. He wants to laugh with the emotions. He wants to laugh with the reality. He wants to laugh a real one. So, he is asking his son to learn. He wants to learn. He wants his son to teach him how to laugh with emotions. It really mean it, and he compares his laugh like that of a snake's fangs that shows only the teeth. Here he compares his laugh with the snake's fangs, poisonous teeth of a snake. It's showing only the teeth. So he is comparing the poisonous teeth of a snake's fangs with his teeth, which he used to laugh with only his teeth. So this is the last stanza. So show me, son, how to laugh. Show me how I used to laugh and smile. Once upon a time when I was like you. He is pleading his son. Show me how to laugh. How to laugh and smile. This stanza sums it well by giving the image to the reader. By this stanza, it's giving a clear-cut image to the reader that the poet is not happy and satisfied with himself. He had changed all his habits, but with that he is not being happy, isn't it? That's the main thing here. So he wants to unlearn all the things, whatever he learned from the society, he wants to unlearn all the things. He wants to relearn how to laugh and smile from his son. From the child he wants to relearn. So the last stanza is the father asking and pleading to his son to show him how to laugh and smile like he did when he was a child. He is pleading his son to teach me how to laugh and smile, to show me how to laugh and smile like I did when I was a child. Now we are going to learn about simile mentioned in this poem. I have learned to wear many faces like dresses. Home face. These lines emphasize the constant changes in the person's face. If you think of how often a woman changes her dress, then that is how often the person adjusts his or her personality to suit an audience. The list of phrases that follow this line emphasize this point. If you are going to a party, we used to wear a party wear, isn't it? If you are going to a marriage function, we used to wear silk. If you are going to any sad moment, you are going to wear a simple dress. Like the same, the persons also changing their faces like dress to suit an audience. The list of phrases that follow this line emphasizes this point. What are the phrases mentioned here? Home phase, host phase, office phase, cocktail phase, everything. Here in this line, cocktail phase with all their conforming smiles like a fixed portrait smile. These lines compare people's faces to smiles in a portrait. If you think about a portrait, it is usually very formal and stiff, even uncomfortable. Therefore, the implication is that the smiles are actually fake and stiff. They are conforming or trying to fit to a preconceived mold that is set up by the expectation of the society. So these are people's faces to smiles in a portrait. It's looking like a portrait. Portrait means nothing but it's a drawing, it's a photograph. They are always showing their teeth like that. That's it. It's not a formal. It's uncomfortable really. Therefore, the implication, the smiles are actually fake and stiff. It's not a real, it's not a true one. They are conforming and trying to fit to a preconceived mold. It's looking like a mold. It is set up by the society's expectation, that's it. How to laugh, or my laugh in the mirror shows only my teeth like a snake's bare fangs. These lines compare the person's laugh to the snake's fangs. That means the poisonous teeth of a snake. The snake's teeth also, it's not showing any emotion or any happiness or any whatever it may be. It's not showing. Like the same, we are also looking like. When you think of a snake, words such as sneaky and deceitful comes to mind. Really, it is not a real one, it's an awkward one. Therefore, the implication is that the person is fake, just like the people he or she despises. Based on your understanding of the poem, I am going to ask you some questions. The poem begins with a conversation between, you are going to try your best. Option A, husband and wife. Option B, father and son. Option C, friends. Option D, mother and daughter. Yes, the correct answer is father and son. According to the poet, the people of the modern world laugh with their dash. Option A, heart. Option B, emotions. Option C, teeth. Option D, sorrows. The correct answer is teeth. The poet has learned dash to wear. Option A, to wear many faces. Option B, the manners of the time. Option C, to express the feelings. Option D, to shake the hands. The correct answer is to wear many faces. The poet wants to relearn dash. Option A, how to love sincerely. Option B, how to hide the real face. Option C, manners of the modern time. Option D, modern ways of greeting. The correct answer is how to love sincerely. Next one, the poet compares teeth with. Option A, ice blocks. Option C, snakes, bare fangs. Option C, portrait smile. Option D, cocktail faces. The poet compares teeth with snakes' bare fangs. It's nothing but the poisonous teeth of a snake. This is the short summary of this poem. The poem Once Upon a Time, written by Gabriel Okara, begins with the conversation between father and son. In the past, people used to laugh with hearts and eyes, showing real warmth in it. But today, people used to laugh with their teeth. Their eyes lack the feeling of warmth. It's not a real one, it's a fake one, which shows the fake personality. People have lost all the warmth in handshakes. People learn to say glad to meet you in dry formality. They are just shaking their hands without their hearts. They just say glad to meet you, but they are not having the original glad in it. Guests are welcomed at home once and twice. If they visit the third time, the doors will shut because they are not having the patience of inviting the guests again and again. So, they are not showing their original love to the persons who are all coming to their house. People wear multiple faces on all occasions, like changing dresses. People show mixed emotions in face. People, they used to wear lot of faces like masks on all occasions. He knows each and every event how to behave. So he is changing all his faces like changing dresses. He is showing mixed emotions in his face. The poet wants to unlearn. Unlearn means whatever he learned, he wants to forget all the things whatever he learned from this fake world. And he wants to relearn the innocent ways of smiling from his son. Now, we are going to try to answer the following questions. Once upon a time, son. What do you associate with the title of the poem? The title of the poem is like a fairy tale. What's the relationship between the narrator and the listener? Who is narrator and then who is the listener? Yes, father is the narrator here because he is narrating something. And who is listening here? Son. Son is listening because he is saying what? Once upon a time, son. But that's gone, son. Likewise, he is saying something to his son. That's why the listener is the son, the narrator is the father. So, father and the son is the narrator and the listener. But now they only laugh with their teeth. Who are they? They refers to the people of modern days. The people who are all living in this modern days, they are called as they here. They are mentioned here. They refer to the people of modern days. Explain the verse. Laugh with their teeth. What means laugh with their teeth? To fake a laugh without emotions. Who are all showing their laugh without showing any emotions, that is called what? Laugh with their teeth. They are laughing only by showing their teeth. They are not laughing with the heart and the eyes. And I have learned to laugh with only my teeth and shake hands without my heart. Explain the verse. Left hand search my empty pockets. These lines evaluating the narrator's worth and power, how much worth he is and how much powerful he is. Likewise, they are evaluating. How is their handshake? The handshake have become fake. It's not a true one. It's a fake. That's at home, once, twice, there will be no thrice, for then I find doors shut on me. What happens to the poet when he visits someone for the third time? The doors will shut if he visits thrice. If he visits the third time, the doors will shut because they disliked him. They are not ready to invite him. That's why they are shutting the doors. Whom does I refer to? I refers to the poet. The poet narrating his own poem by using the word I. Cocktail face with all their conforming smiles, like a fixed portrait smile. How does the poet compare his face? The poet compares his face to a portrait. Portrait is nothing but it's a photograph or a drawing. Like the same, he is always showing his face. Laughing means laughing. What it is? How he wants, he is keeping his face like that. That's it. He is not ready to show his original face there. And then, cocktail face. Explain the verse. Cocktail face means the face which shows mixed emotions in it. Find the figure of speech mentioned in this cocktail's face. Simile, because it's a face like cocktail. Most of all, I want to relearn how to laugh, for my laugh in the mirror shows only my teeth like a snake's bare fangs. Why does the poet want to relearn how to laugh? The poet wants to show his real feelings. So, he wants to relearn how to laugh from his son. That's why he is asking his son to show him how to laugh and smile like you. Whom does the poet want to relearn? Find the figure of speech. The poet wants to relearn from his son. He wants to relearn how to laugh and smile from his son. The figure of speech mentioned in this line is simile. Snakes bare fangs. Bare fangs like snakes. So, show me, son, how to laugh. Show me how I used to laugh and smile. Once upon a time, I was like you. What does the poet long for? The poet longs for childlike innocence. He wants to learn how to laugh like a child. So, he longs for childlike innocence. Mention the qualities the child in the poem symbolizes. The qualities of the child in the poem symbolizes the innocence and ignorance. Thank you for listening this poem peacefully. Thank you, students.